Hey y'all, it's your girl, Dr. J, and I would like to welcome you back to or welcome you to my YouTube channel where you can let it flow with Dr. J. Y'all, have you ever sent an email and received an automatic reply? Like you spent time crafting an email to send to someone, and as soon as you hit send, you received an email back saying this person is out of the office, or this is an automatic reply, and we will respond to your email as soon as possible. It's like as soon as you hit the send button, the system was ready to give you an automatic response before your email even had the opportunity to be received or read by the intended recipient. There was no real time to even process the correspondence sent because that auto reply was ready within a matter of seconds or even sometimes minutes. But the reality is that some systems are set up to automatically give you a reply before an actual person can review your email to determine what you need or how they can best assist you. And sometimes in our mind, that auto reply can seem like a closed door or something that is blocking or preventing us from getting the assistance that we need or something that is holding up a part of our process. It can feel like it is something that is standing in the way of our own progress or our ability to move forward because we were hit with it so quickly and it feels like there's nothing that we can do about it. But what if I told you that this is often how we treat ourselves? What if I told you that sometimes we are the ones giving ourselves an automatic reply to the situations and circumstances that may arise in our lives? What if I told you that sometimes we are the ones blocking or preventing ourselves from moving forward or making progress? You see, life can be challenging at times and it can throw us curveballs. We can be faced with situations that seem so big, so unimaginable, so challenging, and so difficult to wrap our heads around. And sometimes we choose to hit the auto reject button because we don't think that we have what it takes to successfully navigate these situations. We look at what we see and we focus on what we hear, and we automatically tell ourselves that we can't. We tell ourselves that this is too big, it's too hard, it's too much, it will require too much of us, and we hit the auto reject button. And this is especially true when we are faced with situations that are new and things that we have never done or encountered before. If that new thing or that new space or situation appears to be too big for us to handle, we automatically count ourselves out before we count ourselves in. Sometimes we automatically tell ourselves that we are not qualified, we are not equipped, we are not capable, we are not enough, and we try to remove ourselves from the equation. We try to shift our focus to something else, perhaps something that appears to be easier or something that appears to not require as much from us, or even something that we feel that we are capable of doing because we have already hit that auto reject button in our minds. We have already told ourselves that this thing or situation is not something we can handle, so we might as well walk away. We even tell ourselves sometimes every negative thing we can possibly think of to prevent us from moving forward. We sabotage our growth and development because the thing or the things that we are up against seem too hard or too challenging for us to face. We play out in our minds everything that could go wrong, all the ways that we could mess up, everything that we feel we don't have or possess, and anything else we can tell ourselves to keep us in a space of fear, doubt, and disbelief in our abilities and all that we do possess. Sometimes we even rehearse what other people have said about us, and we begin to think those things about ourselves and to speak them over our lives, sort of as a way to keep us in check. A way to keep our expectations and emotions in check. Because if we reject or sabotage something in the beginning before we have the chance to see it through or to see what we can really do, we feel that we are less likely to face disappointment, failure, and further rejection from others because we have already cut things off in the beginning. And sometimes we get so good at this that we don't even recognize when we are doing this to ourselves. We get so good that it becomes a natural thing for us to do anytime we're faced with a challenge or a difficult or new situation. We can get so good at it to the point where we start to talk ourselves out of doing things that we know that we are capable of doing because we don't always recognize when we are rejecting and sabotaging ourselves. We've conditioned ourselves sometimes to really think from a pessimistic perspective because of our fears, past hurts, failures, or disappointments, or because of the words others have spoken over us that we've allowed to take root and has caused us to really reject who we are. And if we're not careful with this, and if we don't learn how to recognize when we are rejecting or sabotaging ourselves, we will find ourselves operating from a space of fear, lack, defeat, mediocrity, and negativity because we've allowed ourselves to hit that auto reject button for so long and we have grown comfortable in this space. We have become okay with or complacent in this space, and it has become our new normal. It has become a space where we have conditioned ourselves to dwell in to avoid having to tackle or deal with things head on. And I'm sure if you take a moment to reflect, you can think of times when you have rejected yourself or talked yourself out of doing something that you know you should have done, something that you have been called to do, something that you may have seemed like, okay, this is too challenging or difficult for you to do in your own strength, something that you have tried to stretch and grow through, but it has caused you to feel like, I don't have the experience, or I've experienced something negative before, or something that other people have told you you couldn't do, but you really wanted to believe that you could do it, but their words had already taken root, so you hit the auto reject button. Times when you intentionally or unintentionally sabotaged your dreams, goals, and aspirations because of feelings and thoughts of inadequacy, fear, or lack taking root in your mind. As a moment of truth in my own life, I have a habit of sometimes counting myself out when it comes to applying for certain jobs. I may look at a job description and think, oh, well, I don't meet every requirement or check every box, so they won't call me. They won't look at my resume and give me a fair chance. Or I may say, I've been rejected by similar companies in the past, so this new company is probably going to reject me as well. So why even try? Why even bother to submit my application for the job that I know that I'm going to be rejected for because they're not going to give me the opportunity anyway? The other thing I do was I would go to the organization's website and read the bios of other folks, particularly folks who had the same job title as I was applying for. And I would get discouraged because they seemed more qualified. They seemed to have more credentials than I had, or more years of experience than I currently possess. Or sometimes I would consider their background like, oh, wow, this person has been doing this type of work for most of their career. And I've only been doing this for 3 years. Like, why would they want to hire me? Why would they consider just my 3 years of experience that is specific to this role or anything else I have done? Even when it comes to running a business, I may say, oh, wow, this person has started 3 successful businesses and I'm just on my first business. Or this person has hundreds of, or thousands of testimonials about their work. And all these people who say great things about them and their business, I can't possibly compete with that. I don't measure up to what they have or what they are doing. So I might as well stop before I get in too deep. You see, the thing that I was doing and the thing that I sometimes drift back into, if we're being honest, is self rejection. I am automatically counting myself out because of what I see. I'm automatically overlooking my gifts, my talents, my calling, and all that I have done in my life because I'm so focused on other people. I'm so focused on past rejections, past disappointments, and not feeling that I am qualified or that I am more than enough. So that auto rejection kicks in. And my first thought is to bow out and move in a direction that seems easier, a direction that seems comfortable and familiar, a direction that will put me in places where I know I can do what is asked or required of me. And the reality of this is that I'm not the only one who is guilty of this or who has allowed this to happen in my life. There are some of you who are listening right now, and you are starting to remember every time you have rejected yourself. Every time you have told yourself that you couldn't do something, that you're not capable of achieving or accomplishing something, you're thinking about every time you've allowed yourself to believe that you are not qualified and you don't have what it takes to do the thing that is in front of you or the thing that you have been called to do. You're thinking about the times where you talked yourself out of doing things like going back to school, the times where you have talked yourself self out of believing that you can own a home, the times where you have talked yourself out of starting a business, the times where you have talked yourself out of following your dreams because you allowed yourself to believe that you couldn't possibly accomplish that goal, pursue that thing, or be successful in that area of your life. You're recounting every time you believe what the enemy told you, the times where you allowed what they said to hold you back, the times where you allowed what they said about you to cause you to believe that you couldn't do more, you couldn't be more, and you wouldn't amount to anything. You're recounting every time you saw something that you were interested in or something that you believe you would be great at, but you allowed fear, doubt, discouraging words from yourself and others to dictate your growth and your ability to move forward. You're recounting the times when you didn't dig deep enough, the times you didn't face adversity head on, the times when you would shrink back instead of moving forward to pursue the things you know you were supposed to pursue. You may be recounting all the times God said go, and you said, oh no, because you didn't think that you were capable of doing what God already said you could do. You see, this is why self rejection is such a dangerous thing. It causes us to believe things about ourselves that are not true. It causes us to dwell on the negatives and to forget who we are and who we belong to. It causes us to highlight or magnify the things that we don't know and the things that we don't have instead of celebrating what we do have and what we do possess. It causes us to operate out of a space of fear and defeat and to miss out on opportunities to grow and to go deeper in our lives because we have already taken ourselves out of the equation. So I challenge you, I challenge me, I challenge us to disable the auto reject button in our lives. I challenge us to face our challenges, difficulties, and adversities head on. I challenge us to step outside of our comfort zone and dare to dream, dare to think bigger, dare to seek greater, dare to see ourselves in a new light and to envision all that we can become. I challenge us to stop magnifying insecurities, shortcomings, and fears. I challenge us to combat every ounce of negativity and a defeated mindset with scripture, prayer, and belief in ourselves. I don't care how hard it seems, what it looks like, what anyone else has accomplished, or what anyone else has spoken over to you or about you. We are no longer allowing ourselves to self reject, self sabotage, or to dwell in a space of believing that we are inadequate, not enough, or destined for failure. Instead, we are speaking life, positivity, abundance, success, prosperity, health, and God's blessings over our lives and our bloodline. We are choosing today to not allow the thoughts, feelings, emotions, or past disappointments, failures, and rejections to impede our ability to move forward and to accomplish our goals and to live out our wildest and grandest dreams. Today, we are focusing on who God says that we are, and we are believing that He has given us everything that we need to do all that He has asked and required of us. We are believing that God has chosen us and He has created us for a time such as this. And He has also equipped us with everything that we need, even the things that we don't already have. When He sends us to that place, when He sends us to that things, when He presents certain things to us, He is already going to equip us with every single thing that we need in order for us to successfully navigate through this season, this space, this thing, this opportunity. So, whatever you are holding on to, let it go and go after everything you want and desire in your life. Go after everything God has already said belongs to you without fear, without doubt, and without hitting the auto rejection button. All right, y'all. I hope this message meets you at your point of need. I've dropped a few scriptures in the description. And as always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. You can also connect with us on Instagram, and you can see the coaching services, workshops, and motivational speaking that is offered through Her Divine Connection by using the information in the description. I hope that you would connect with us and receive all that God has to offer. Peace and love. It's your girl, Dr. J.